Shawn McAnalley here, Dr. Bill McAnalley, Dr. John Hall. Today we're going to talk about a question that gets asked a lot, and Dr. Bill's going to use just one example of that, but a lot of times the question gets asked, can I take these supplements while I am being treated for whatever, anything? He's going to use some examples here. And he's going to, well, both of these doctors here are going to try and explain to you, and I hope you stay tuned for this because it's going to be good, how actually, good nutrition is going to benefit whatever treatment that you may be receiving for whatever it is. And during this video, there'll be an example given on one thing, but this can be attributed to multiple different treatments. Okay? So without further ado, guys, how does it work? How does it work?
Well, I get this question all the time. Someone's being treated for something, and they'll say, well, can I take this supplement with my drug? And I always ask them, well, did your doctor say you couldn't eat? Oh, they look at me. No. Well, this is food.
That's right.
This is not an antioxidant. So that's one of the problems you have with chemo, is chemo causes free radicals to kill cancer cells.
Okay.
And so they don't want you taking these powerful antioxidants because they will kill those free radicals that you're wanting to kill the cells. But ours is food. And you need food. That's why a lot of cancer patients give up and die, because they can't eat. They don't feel like eating, and they try to do anything they can to get them to keep eating.
Yeah.
And so far, all of the food ingredients we have, there's study after study, where it helps their chemo work better. They need less chemo, and it's more effective.
And that means they have fewer side effects because they can take less chemo and they're getting better results. So, I mean, it's just a positive all the way around. We've seen that over and over again for decades. Bill and I have. And
well, and they're trying to develop chemo to activate apoptosis pathways that food
already does.
So you think maybe that's how food helps? Is it's a lot of times chemo is not working because that pathway is not there. And if you take the right foods, they put the pathway in action, and then the chemo can work. I'll bet we'll show a lot of those effects in the future.
Well, you want the body working as well as it can, and you can look in the literature and say when apoptosis is working like it should, cancer therapy works better. Well, of course it does, because the body needs to be working as well as it can, and the two of them together can really get the job done. So, I mean, we're not anti-allopathic medicine around here at all.
Oh, no, I cut this finger off one time.
That's right.
I'm glad they had something to put me out to put that back together. I wouldn't have survived it.
Yeah, a lot of people heard me say, if I'm in a car wreck and I'm broken to pieces, don't give me a vitamin,
Yeah, that's true.
So, but the problem is there are things about allopathic medicine that are negative. Chronic. I always say chronic is a synonym for failure. When you have chronic condition, things aren't working right. But boy, there are a lot of acute conditions where they can really fix you up. And we're not anti-chemotherapy. I mean, there are negatives about it, but sometimes, but what we've seen is people can be taking standard therapy, add the nutrients to it, they get cleared up. We've seen the CAT scans of livers that were just loaded with cancer, and a year later they're clean, and that was after they added the nutrients to it. And they have fewer side effects, they just do better. So, but they're still taking standard therapy. We never tell any, we don't practice medicine.
No.
And we never tell anybody, don't do such and such, but we do. as I've said many times, you know, whether you're sick or whether you're well, if you're sick, enhancing your nutritional status is a good thing to do.
Yeah.
And FDA can't say anything about that. That's not a drug claim.
No.
Enhancing your nutritional status is a good thing to do, whether you're sick or whether you're well, but especially if you're sick. And that's what we're talking about. It just helps the body respond better to therapy, but also just do what it needs to do to try to get healthy anyway. So it's a natural way to do it, and it works. It makes a difference.
The body can only do so many things. Each cell has all these pathways. It can elevate, it can cause inflammation, it can reduce inflammation, it modulates inflammation, up or down, whether it needs it, and it does it right there at that spot. And so, by being able to modulate all these pathways, and the food, when you eat certain foods, it activates this pathway and brings with it the nutrients to fix that cell in that pathway. So it doesn't turn on all the pathways, which is good at the same time, because the cell wouldn't know what to do. It turns on the pathways that need to use that food. And by eating a variety of foods, you eventually modulate all the pathways, and you keep that cell healthy by turning the pathway on to use the food to fix itself. And that's how food's designed to work. And we've modified our food by where it can take Roundup, like corn and stuff.
That's a whole nother subject. That's crazy. But you're right.
Yeah, we'll have to talk about that sometime.
No.
But by being able to turn on any one of the cells' pathways, now drugs that use those pathways, are able to work. That if that pathway is not viable at that time, if it's not activatable, then the drug's not going to work.
Yeah, all it's going to do is cause problems.
Yeah.
It's called toxicity or side effects.
Yeah. You know, I mean, it's nice to see how, you know, everything works together. It works a lot better. You know, you wouldn't want to try and turn on just one pathway. That'd be terrible. I had an engine one time where the injector stayed on one cylinder, melted the piston. That was just one pathway and solid fuel in there. That's a bad thing. It needs to do it when it needs to do it.
That's right.
Yeah.
Technology.
Yeah.
So anyway, food is a good thing good food and nutrients, a good thing to add to the regimen when you're being treated for anything.
And you know, grains, I think it's interesting in the Bible it says, which are oats, all of our grains we feed cattle, but we don't feed them the grains, we feed them, the grains grow the grass or whatever, and that's what they eat. Well, we became so efficient at getting seeds so we could grow grass that we started feeding seeds instead of planting it and letting it grow the grass. And then we thought, well, if the cattle can eat those seeds, maybe we can. And we started eating a lot of seeds, and then we modified the seeds from the way they were originally made. And every time we change things from the way God makes it, we end up realizing we should have left it alone.
Yeah. That's good. That's good. Well, guys, thanks for joining us. I hope that helped you. I hope it was educational. I hope it just kind of give you some insight on things and how they work, and, you know, just to help you as you're making your decisions throughout life whenever you have your challenges. Guys, this was For Your Health. Till next time.